Hi, everybody. On this episode of So Much More, we just had a fantastic conversation with a friend, Falen from KDWB. We covered a lot.
We covered so much. We covered favorite music right now, content creation.
Favorite coffee.
Oh, favorite coffee. Movies.
And just the legacy of the partnership. It's been a fantastic ride. Tune in, join us, stick around for so much more.
Mall of America. For more than 30 years, it has been a retail leader and an international destination, and it remains the largest mall in the U.S. Not to mention, it welcomes millions of guests from around the world. It's huge, but it's also so much more. In this podcast, you're going to hear the real stories of how it started and why it continues to thrive. You'll hear about challenges we faced along the way and what you can learn from them. We will feature guests and experts from all walks of life and business, and along the way, you'll laugh, learn, and maybe even change the way you look at things. So if you're a fan of the mall, a brand new visitor, an entrepreneur, or a dreamer, prepare to dive deep into so much more. This podcast is presented by the Bloomington Convention and Visitors Bureau.
This drives our producer Julie crazy. I just like to go. I don't like to do an intro. I just like to have a conversation. I just like to go.
Fun. Okay.
It is. We just keep it loose. Yeah. But anyway, seriously, what are you going to do this weekend then?
I do not know. I am debating a few different things, and we'll see. I feel like, I don't know.
Would you do a staycation? Like the Hewing or like something like that?
No.
Okay. Chicago? We could like jet set a little bit?
Can I tell you an unpopular opinion?
100%.
Yes. I don't like Chicago.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't understand it. Like, I would rather go to New York every day of the week.
Yep.
And people love Chicago, and I get it's like close proximity. But I've been there many times, and I'm always like, cool, I've seen the Bean. Mm-hmm. I've been to the museum and aquarium.
Check.
Cool. What else is there?
Done.
Deep dish pizza. I don't even really like.
Yeah. And you can get that here too.
Yeah,
you get that here too.
And so unpopular opinion, and that's people will come for me, but I don't. The
Let
day
them.
here,
Let them.
I went with my family, and I was like, there's a carousel. Cool. They have that at Mall of America, and I don't have to go to Chicago
That's
for
right.
it.
That's true.
Very true.
I'm honestly into it. I think I align.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that's a last minute. I think that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That like I'll do it, but I don't want to do it.
And also, like, I think when I was younger, it seemed really cool because maybe there were, like, where I'm from, a small town, that is a big city, and there's a lot of shopping and stuff. But again, in Minnesota, I feel like, I don't know. I have it all here.
Where are you from originally?
Southern Indiana. It's a very small town called New Washington.
Okay.
It's like by like Louisville, Kentucky, like right across the river.
So how did you find yourself here?
Radio. So I went to college like just 2 hours away in Indiana, and I needed a part-time job, and my cousin Jimmy worked in radio, and yeah, he was like, I probably can get you a part-time gig. And then like within a week of working at the radio stations, I was not on the radio. I was like behind the scenes. I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. And I changed all of my classes. I started working at the college radio station. And then you like kind of build your way up in markets. So once I did work in Evansville, Indiana for a while, I got a job in Reno, Nevada. Did that for 2 years, and then started here exactly 2 years later in Minnesota.
And what year was that?
2012. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. That's when I started at Mall of America. And I feel like when I started here, my then coworker, current wife, Sara, who says hello, by the way.
Hi.
Was doing things with you. And I feel like at the theater, you did some book club stuff up there back when we owned and operated the theaters. And that's when I first met you.
Yeah.
And you have a long history with Mall of America. I didn't know it was right away once you started here. We just glommed right onto you.
It was.
We hitched our wagon to that rocket and said,
yeah, thank you.
We're doing this.
Well, thank you. It's like been the best partnership, but also this will blow your mind. My very first Mall of America event, the Hunger Games cast. What an epic first Mall of America event.
That's amazing.
I've never been more stressed in my life about anything, I don't think.
You got that one out of the way. The most stressful, biggest one out of the way.
It was so crazy. I'm like, my first event was with Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it was
okay,
right
we have
before
to
I
have
started
those photos
here.
somewhere. We're going to find those.
They're brutal. I have very aggressive short bangs and the most eyeliner you've ever seen, like black. I'm like a raccoon fresh out of a dumpster at the Mall of America.
This feels like a great
And we
intern
embrace you.
project to find all of your pictures from your
Great.
events throughout the year, like a great time capsule
It
of
really
hairstyles throughout the years.
When Mall of America celebrated a birthday, I feel like it was the 25th. and I've done it for like a 30th as well. I've pulled photos from him. What a exploration of hair colors for me and everything. Yeah, it's interesting.
That.
Yeah,
we're doing it. We're pulling it. We will be
we have no
sending
choice
you your
now.
way.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah. We need some visuals as well.
do.
That's going to be great.
I need to know.
Yeah,
Because I've seen all the Hunger Game pictures, but I don't think I've ever seen you in them. And this is a game changer.
I'm just lurking in the background of a lot of them. I remember I didn't even read the notes that were given to me. Apparently very well. Yeah, I went.
Interesting, huh, Jules?
I typically do. I typically like overly read them.
Yeah.
But apparently, I remember they specifically didn't want you to be like team PETA, team whatever, because that was very Twilight.
Oh,
And I didn't know that was a thing that they wanted to be separate from. And then I went up and like first thing I did, who's team blah, blah, blah? Who's team blah, blah? I didn't get in trouble. But I remember later they were like, yeah, they don't really want you to do that. And I was like, that is on me. I do apologize.
Like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
And also, too late.
Yeah,
And
it's
Team
done.
PETA all the way.
Exactly, yeah.
That's awesome. So you started in 2012, and things have evolved greatly since then.
Yeah.
Even just the way we connect with guests or listeners. One stream, right? It used to just be radio. Maybe you come out, do an event here and there. And now with social media everywhere, multiple platforms, how much pressure is there to juggle and balance all of those things as well, on top of your trade, what you went to school for and what you found a passion for?
My friend, you're doing it all.
Oh, yeah.
To be clear, you're doing it all.
Yeah, I mean, probably the same with you guys. It's I don't think any job is a solo, like you're just doing one thing kind of job anymore. And obviously social media is so important. And I was on it pretty early on. And yeah, I definitely feel like you have to have all of these things to accompany it. Before it was kind of like just posting some photos, and then that evolves to now you have to do videos for everything. To you should have a TikTok as well. And like the one I let go of so long ago is formerly Twitter and X. I didn't love that experience anyway.
Way to see that coming.
So
yeah.
You knew ahead of time.
That was for me always the most toxic place, like the meanest people. And so it was really easy for me to be like, and it wasn't like my type of creativity. I am a visually creative person, I think. So that wasn't visual enough for me. So I started when I came here, I was like really soft in Instagram and then Facebook. But now, it's like constantly creating. How can we jump on a trend? How can we take like a bit we're doing on the radio and extend that into the social media world? So there's definitely pressure. I mean, they look at that now for sure. So and obviously podcasting is so huge. So we lean into that and
Yeah, no longer is it just, it's other duties as assigned has grown.
Yes.
But so much of it is you. So how much, where do you decide that line is too? Because you do share a lot of who you are.
Yeah. Right.
You're extremely authentic.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it. And that builds rapport with your listener as well. But it's an interesting balance.
It is, and it is a difficult one that I still juggle. So I used to share probably too much, and I still share too much, but there are more limits, because one thing I discovered is the more you share, the more people feel like they own you and the rights to everything about your life. And then that gives them the ability to have an opinion on your life and everything about you. And so I'm still, I would say, very genuinely authentic, but I have been more protective over certain things. But once I had a kid, then that's where my weird line was like, what is my line here? Because you see so many people that overly show their kids and use them for content, and people who won't show their kids at all. So I've tried to find the balance on that for what feels comfortable for our family. So that was a big change in boundaries for me probably. And I don't know, my issue is shutting it down, because it is so part of my job. And I always want people to feel like I saw their comment or their message and I want to respond in a timely manner. But then I'll be sitting on my couch at home and I'm like, I don't think it's really important that I responded to someone in this moment. Maybe this phone should be put face down and I should be focused on my kid, So I still struggle with finding a proper balance with social media.
Sure. And I suppose that was a slow creep into our lives as well.
Yes.
The more prevalent that became,
Yeah.
the more we're connected. It is harder to disconnect and turn that work self off, especially when you are so much of your work, right? Like it's you that's out there.
So that is so true. I am an elder millennial. So
I feel like you should be wearing a robe.
Yeah, I know. I need
sort of
something.
scepter, a tiara.
I agree.
An
Thank
elder
you.
millennial.
Yeah, I'm going to
yes.
demand that in the future. But so I have the luxury of having a childhood without social media, where you were maybe truly just actually focused on what you were doing. And then MySpace came into play when I was in, I can't remember if I was in middle school, but probably middle school or high school. And so I have the unique experience of both. So I definitely know how much it's become a part of my everyday and life consumption. With my job, I was never completely able to shut things off, because I think what makes you good when you do radio is wherever you are thinking about, how did this interaction, how can I turn that into a bit and use it for content? How can I watch this person at this coffee shop and that can be turned into a segment on my show? So it was always viewing and taking in your surroundings so that you could turn it into content. And now it's using that for the radio show, and also what can I use that for in a social extension. So it's definitely very consuming.
I was going to say, and exhausting probably a little bit.
It
Do you ever
is.
get exhausted by that? Where, to
Yeah.
your point, you were saying you flip your phone. Do you ever just fully shut off for a weekend?
Rarely, only on vacation, and that's why I love national parks, because they don't have service.
Yes.
Strategy.
Truly,
Right.
I'll go go
brilliant.
into a national
Great
park.
plug for the
Yes.
national parks.
Truly. Yeah, I'm working on an endorsement deal with them. That's a joke, but I would love that. Glacier, hit me up. You go in and guess what? I will still take pictures and video, but I don't feel like I'm missing anything. So why is it when I'm on my couch at home, I'm scrolling as if I'm missing something? It's so bizarre.
Yep.
SJ and I have talked about this too, growing up in a similar fashion. I feel like what the phones and social media have done is really, it's almost like a loss of curiosity.
Yeah.
Because there's the assumption that you can get whatever you need, whatever information you need
Yeah.
right at your fingertips. And to your point too about observing the world around you is so important for what you do. If you're wrapped up in this thing, you're really passively engaging rather than actively participating and taking in those things around you. But it's interesting because the generational divide, I feel like I'm, again, just slow creeping into curmudgeon. And I don't know if that's okay or not
It's not
yet.
a problem. We like it.
But
Embrace
Yeah.
that.
I
It's
try
fine. Yeah.
more and more to just put that away and be present in the moment again. But it's
hard,
interesting.
yeah.
Have you
Because-
found
So
any
interesting.
any ways to help you with that you can pass along as a tip from me? Because I'm always looking.
Honestly, when we walk our dogs, I don't bring the phone anymore. I used to
Yep.
there's all these
For,
ways that you're
tracking your
connected
steps,
to.
'cause that's where
exactly
my mind was.
I should track. Why do I care how many
Right.
steps I took?
That's true.
It doesn't
Right. It's the
matter.
control factor. They have us controlled.
Exactly.
They do.
So
They
it just
do.
starts with this, slowly again observing when you don't need it because you feel chained to it all the time, and then just start leaving it back or
Yeah.
letting
That's
it
smart.
die. As you know from the other day, I'm like, I'm
I
so
was looking
sorry.
at his phone. I was like, "Are you riding on the edge? This is stressing."
She's actually reaching a high anxiety level over your phone
Just a
battery.
little bit.
And I'm
He
just
was like,
blissfully
"It's
unaware,
fine."
just wandering through my day. Like,
I
it's been
know.
quiet. I don't know why.
It's been dead for a while.
Yeah, that would stress me out too, actually. Yeah, so I get that.
Good though, just starting to leave it. I think I need to think through that a little bit more.
I'm here to help.
disconnect.
I'm here to
Thank
help.
you.
Yeah.
But talk about, too, from your perspective, you've worked together a ton. Talk about what that's been like. Again, the evolution
Yes.
over the years and just the scope and breadth of events and things that we do. And you're a fan anyway. So I feel like
we love.
easy plug. Do you want to come back to the mall?
Yeah.
And do some
Yes,
fun stuff?
always.
Yeah.
I remember when I first moved here, I feel like people said, if you live in Minnesota, that's more, the Mall of America is more of a tourist spot than for locals. And I was like, That is not true. That is not true at all. First of all, my husband was like, "Are you kidding me?" When he had a baby, he was like, "I mall walked constantly with my kid," and I was, and I always came. I love the mall. It's like the top spot when people visit me that I do take them to. All my friends come here. I thought that was such an interesting thing that a local had said to me, and I was like, "No, that's not true." And so I've loved it since day one.
Yeah, I feel like we've had such a good organic partnership too, because it very much is conversational. Like, what are you interested in? What do you like right now, and how can we accommodate? Is it like family friendly, or is it more, do you want to do fashion?
Yeah.
Are you trying to come to an event? Cody Rigsby.
I do. I'll reach out and be like, so I see so-and-so is doing a book signing. Do you need someone there by chance? Yeah.
Because he was a fun one. I feel
was.
like, I mean, he sold out so fast from an event standpoint, right?
That one
it
was wild
bananas.
for us.
Yeah.
We actually added more tickets because the first lot of 700 sold out so
crazy.
fast.
That's
so we
crazy.
checked
You were
again to
perfect
see what we
timing
could
when you were like,
accommodate.
hey. We're like, yeah.
I mean, we would have made it work,
Oh, absolutely.
obviously, but
Yes.
we would have charged you double.
Yeah, obviously. And that's fair. And I deserve that. So that's, I've come to see the Pioneer Woman. Like, Ree was here.
That line was
Yes.
huge.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Still love her. And then there are some that, like from like a TV show, Pretty Little Liars, one of the characters had like a poetry book. And I look back, I'm like, that was a forgettable one for me now later because the show's no longer relevant. But at the time, I was like, oh, you have so-and-so from Pretty Little Liars. Can I come? And then crazy performances that we've, just like music, like shows have been really cool here too. So.
Because you came to the drag show earlier this year
Did.
too, which is so fun. And you came last year as well.
I did, yeah. I've loved the drag shows for sure that you guys put on.
So many fun things going on.
Yeah, it's interesting that we get to do so many different things under this same roof here, and it's fun to help curate that and put that together. But I love that you are, again, looking through some of the things in advance of this. You're here for the opening of Fly with Appa, and you're here for Peloton.
Yep.
You're a fan.
Chameleon.
Big fan.
Can't hide it.
No, I
hide it.
can't.
No,
I
it's great.
can't. No, and that's like I was telling you guys, I'm planning like my birthday trip. So I have like my spots. I come in and I have my route, and we have a new night guy, and he came to the Fly with Appa thing with me, and he was like, "Let's go wherever," and I was like weaving through my path, and he was like, "How often do you come here?" He's like, "Why do you know this so well?" And I was like,
We love that.
"Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah."
I think that's what we are going to do. We're going to log your lap around the mall.
That would be
And we're going to have the mall
brilliant.
walkers do
Yes.
Falen's
Oh,
hot lap.
friend.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Done.
Yeah.
Photos. We're going to pull those from the archives. We're going to start doing casts. This is inspirational, I think is what this is. I'm making mental notes.
That's perfect.
Okay, friend, can I ask you a random question that I love about you? Is that you paint.
I do paint.
And
yeah.
I think that's such a fun thing that I've been following along for a couple of years now, and that you've started selling your paintings. And I love that this
Yeah.
is like a facet that I didn't expect from you. But
I
how
didn't
fun.
expect it from myself. I've never had an artistic ability in my entire life. Like growing up, I wanted to be like, because I lean more into the arts for sure. I am not an analytical mind. I am probably a more creative. So I remember growing up being like, I'm going to try band. And the teacher's like, you don't have rhythm. And I was like, fair. I do not.
Have you heard jazz?
Yeah.
I think I'd fit fine. No.
Yeah, and I was like, you're onto something. And then she's like, they're like, maybe try art. And then they were like, oh, maybe try choir. And I think choir just absorbs anyone because
You're like, excuse me.
Just getting passed around. We'll find something for you.
And I did choir, and I was under this fake belief that I was good at that. And then as I got older, I learned I am not. But in the moment, I was like, wow, I'm a fantastic alto, guys.
So someone told you one day, they're like, hey.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
so
that person
sorry.
because you could have found out on American Idol like so many folks do.
Well, I just found it on the radio, I think, which, just the entire Twin Cities singing, yeah. But in 2020, like everyone else, it's like, okay, let's figure out a way to kill some time. And so I ordered a Bob Ross painting kit from Amazon.
We were just talking about that.
Yep. And it doesn't have instructions or anything. So I was just painting, and I had a baby, like a newbornish baby at the time. And so she would take naps and I would paint every day. And I never took any classes. So just by painting every day, you start learning some things and techniques, and nothing I do is right. But it's fun and I enjoy it. And I always say it's the only time I cannot think about anything else. My mind cannot wander when I'm painting. So it's kind of a nice break from myself.
Do you host painting classes? Now I'm
No.
like, can I show up for this?
No, people ask that all the time. I'm like, I guess never say never, but never.
Because it's your thing. I think that's a beautiful thing. It's your time
to
just
people be like, can
relax.
I commission it? I'm like, no, because that stresses me out. Now that adds a new layer of like, I'm trying to satisfy someone, and I am not, again, I'm not trained, so I just would never feel like I could teach someone anything.
Well, it's flattering that people would think that.
Absolutely.
But also, it's nice to keep something for yourself when you have so much of yourself that's available to everybody else.
For sure. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah,
it's interesting. So fun, you made comment about this too, about how you're very visual, the visual medium, and you went into radio.
I know.
Just going to point that out.
I know, that's fair.
Thank goodness social media came along for you. Yeah.
It's my job to paint a visual photo for everyone.
Verbally.
Yes, so that's what I have to work on. Yeah.
Are there things that you're excited about in this next year? Like, what are you most excited about?
Well, I'm always most excited about vacations, trips, and things like that. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific other than that I'm looking forward to. I switched my show around. Like I did mornings for years, and now I'm doing afternoons. So I think growing that is exciting for me because my name is on the show, and that always adds a new level of ownership and pressure. So really focusing on building and growing that is probably like my biggest focus for this year. And what I'm excited for, I work with a guy named Colt. He's like 10 years younger than me, and he's so creative. And when you find a truly like collaborative partner, it's a game changer. It's like it challenges you, it makes you better, it makes the whole experience fun. And I love radio, like I always have. And so I don't know, I feel like I'm with like this whole new chapter. I'm excited and motivated in like a whole new way. And so I think that's what I'm most excited about for this year.
To do what you've done, here locally from 2012 on, you must feel really supported. I mean, I would think so. Your name is out there, like you just said, like it's your show.
Yeah.
That's really a pretty awesome accomplishment and a pretty I think so anyway.
Yeah.
And you guys are fun on social too. I was looking at some of the content you've done together.
Yeah.
He seems so playful.
He
and
is.
Just excited and interesting.
He has my same kind of self-deprecating sense of humor, which I like.
It's the only way to go.
Yeah, I know.
It's the only way to go.
He's the king of it.
I think you and Colt could go back and forth for sure with that. And so I love that. And going to what you said with like the support, the Twin Cities is unlike any place I've worked. I love Indiana. It's where I'm from. And they were supportive of radio. And then when I went to Reno, they were just like, they didn't care. You know what I mean? And when I came to the Twin Cities, it was immediately different. And I don't know how to explain it. Like they seem to care about what's going on in their community. They seem to care about the local, whether that's maybe now influencers, but media people. And it was so weird at first to have so much interaction and people to, immediately comment on what you're doing, whether they like it or not. And so I do feel really lucky to have been embraced and supported in the Twin Cities and with my coworkers and stuff too. So
I feel like you're such a Minnesota treasure in the way that I think about it. Because we see you everywhere. To your point, people, you're beloved.
Oh, thank
I feel like
you.
I just saw your feature in MSP Mag, which is huge.
Yeah.
I feel like that really plays into how people feel about you and what you contribute, which is phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah, I am appreciative for sure. Yeah.
That's so fun. What's our finale question? What you got?
Oh, this is the second time producer Julie has thrown this out here, so we have to.
I was like, I'm having fun with what we're
Producer
at.
question.
Sorry, Jules.
What is your path around MOA?
So when
Are you creature of habit with like, I always park? Okay.
I still think we should do like where we like follow you.
Yeah.
You don't tell us what we're doing, but we're going to be with you.
Yeah.
Paint the picture.
When I first moved here, I was always a 24th Street exit, and I would park in the Indiana lot because I'm from Indiana, and that is the entrance I would come through, like kind of straight into the rotunda. But now I'm a north entrance girl.
Oh.
So
Just one of the best kept secrets.
It is the best spot.
So I do park over, the north entrance by obviously IKEA, but I come in and I do, because it has my hot spots right when I come in, Anthropology, Zara, H&M. And then I typically will cut across and I will check out like Madewell, Aritzia, Lulu. So those are kind of my top hot spots I'll hit. And then if I am circling back around, I will hit Nordstrom and go to, I think, a North Side food court girl as well. That's I think my food court now.
Southside just feels so far sometimes. I mean, as someone who works there.
So you're not counting steps either. Great, perfect.
I go as far as Nordstrom E-Bar, and then I come back, and then I'll do it again and come back. It's one of those things that working here too, I feel that. It's funny to hear everyone's path because it gets to a point we're so massive.
Yeah.
Do I want to go to the South Side? Honestly, I have to weigh my pros and cons.
Absolutely.
How long is it going to take me to get there?
When you guys opened the haunted house, at first I didn't know where it was, and I was like, I'm going to be late, and I am hiking through the mall. I was sweating by the time I got there, and I was like, I don't usually come to this side. I know why I didn't know where it was. I'm sweating.
It was hidden.
Because I was like speed walking.
What a great discovery.
Yeah, it really was.
The mall is even bigger than you realized.
It is. My stepson, though, would make me go through the entrance with Lulu and Urban Outfitters so that he could go to Urban Outfitters probably. So it's like, it also depends on who you're with.
Sure, it does.
Your journey for the day.
I have one more question.
No, please.
I'm sorry,
please.
I'm so excited. Okay, what are your top stores right now? And then what are your stepson's top stores too? Because if he likes urban, I'm always so curious what people are into.
He's 16, my stepson, so he is very into like a PacSun kind of situation. So that's like his top spot he would go to. I am, probably Madewell. I do like Anthropologie a lot. Zara, I'll be honest, it always depends on the line for me.
100%.
The checkout
Hit or
line,
miss.
if I walk in and I see it's long, I'm not going in Zara that day. And that's not a knock on them because I love Zara so much. Their kids and their adults' clothes. I get my daughter a lot of clothes from there. So
I think every woman says that.
Yep.
Or male. I mean, both. Well, actually, I don't know if the male's line. Do they check out upstairs?
usually, they're usually not checking out upstairs.
Okay.
Because I will check
this is
that
the strategy.
out. Yes, for sure.
But I feel the same way. I feel like Zara on a Tuesday, best day to do it. Just like
That's
middle
the
of the
insider
week.
tip.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the small little nuance because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
If it's too long, I'm bailing.
Absolutely.
Abandoning ship. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see. That's the strategy.
For sure.
I will also say, as a willing shopping spousal participant, I appreciate Madewell.
Yeah.
Because they have never assumed I am just being dragged there.
Oh,
They
nice.
always ask if there's something that I need help with. They're always very accommodating because it drives me nuts when I walk in. They're like, it's getting dragged along with the wife, huh? Be like, I will. I am here willingly.
I wanted to be here.
This is fun for me. Don't ruin it. But Madewell's very accommodating in that way. So
it is.
That's
shout
amazing.
out Madewell.
Shout out Madewell.
It's a thing.
Huh. Yeah, it should be.
It is.
Everyone should be doing that.
See,
if anybody's listening.
Jake, my husband, he would go over to I'm going to say it wrong, Viore.
Yes, no, you got it.
That's right.
Yep.
He loves their clothes.
Good
so
to know.
he got me into that. He opened that door for me at Christmas, purchasing me some pants and very soft shirts from there. Yeah, that's his spot.
Yeah, people love
They are so
that place.
soft.
They're amazing because they're our newest addition, I would say, from like athleisure.
Yeah.
Was it last year or 2 years ago now?
It feels like last
What is
year.
time?
What is time?
Great
is time?
question.
Anything after 2020.
Yeah, it's a blur. It's a blur. I'm the one that's still living in like the 90s or only 10 years ago. So
Same. It's so bananas.
It was a good time.
It was.
Speaking of time, we are running short, but I did want to ask, because you kind of touched on this a little bit too, the nature of celebrity has changed significantly. Your first event, Hunger Games, big cast from a big movie, lots of promotion behind it. But then as we move forward, it's really these people that are oddly in our homes now every day through the Peloton app or
TikTok.
Or a cooking show.
Yeah.
Like, do you see that too, especially like in radio? It's harder and harder for people to break through and find that, I don't know, success or celebrity doesn't equate to success, but it is really interesting as we're trying to book talent and things as well and anticipate what that looks like. I just think it's been interesting, and you've dealt with the same thing with radio too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they come and go faster. So they have a moment, but it's so quick and it could be over so quickly. For radio, it's interesting because a lot of songs are played now that have a breakthrough on TikTok. And that's a very interesting change where radio used to break most artists. Sometimes now they'll break on like TikTok before they come through on radio. And it's like, oh, this is so huge there. We have to play it. I mean, why else would we ever have played Kate Bush, you know, in this, you know, I don't know, this decade because it blew up on a TV show. And typically that wouldn't have happened in radio. But with the celebrity, it is interesting. And I think it's nearly impossible to keep up with celebrities now. Before, I feel like you had like kind of your core, but now there are so many different avenues to be quote unquote celebrity. I cannot keep up with it.
Nope.
It'll be like,
too much.
oh, we're playing a new song from a guy from Stranger Things, and Joe Keery. But his artist name is Joe, but spelled
with the D.
DJO. And they're like, this is the guy from
really?
Stranger
That's
Things who
insane.
also filmed a movie in Minnesota. And it's so interesting. And I'm like,
It's fascinating.
I wouldn't have known that was him. And that song, and I love the song. It's actually good. It's not just TikTok good. It's actually
he's
good.
Really
Yeah.
good. He's really good. Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm answering the question properly, but I just feel like there are more celebrities. It's impossible to keep up with them, and then they're gone, and they get canceled a lot quicker as well because they have too much access to celebrity quickly without proper media training.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You were ready with that one.
Yeah, I feel like yeah.
You put some thought into that.
That's fair.
I didn't put thought into it. No, it's like true. It's like I see people like getting canceled so frequently.
So fast.
Yeah, and with everything on social media now, things they said 10
Receipts.
years ago come back to haunt them. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
I have one more question. I'm so sorry. We could do
Go
this
ahead.
all day.
Yeah.
She gonna yell at you. Not me. It's fine. No, it's no.
Okay, favorite song right now. What are you listening to?
Okay, I have a handful, but I love. There are 2 songs on the new Ariana Grande album. We're playing "We Can't Be Friends," and also she has one called "Imperfect." On the new Beyonce album, I love "Bodyguard" and I love her song with Miley Cyrus. Those are like my
Yes,
top
Most
2.
Wanted.
I am loving the song with Joe.
I haven't heard this. I'm gonna have to.
great.
It's really good. You'd probably know it if you heard it. And then Olivia's new song, "Obsessed." Probably my top.
And you went and saw her.
I
when
did
she was
see
here.
her.
Ah.
Yep, it was a great show.
So good.
She's good.
You have to answer your own question now.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot,
That's
you
how it
guys! I'm
goes.
never prepared. I get so excited. Okay, we were just talking about Beyonce. You know where I'm going with this. I love her. I went to her concert last year. Did you go last year?
I
too?
didn't go last year,
Okay.
no, but I've been to most of her tours. Yeah.
But she's gonna tour again. We
Yeah,
know it.
she will, for sure.
But I've been really into Levi jeans with Post Malone.
yep,
Oh my
great.
gosh, it just has. I can't stop.
No,
it's
and
gonna be my top one for 2024. I feel like at this point.
Probably.
It's
And
so
his voice is
embarrassing.
so good on it.
So
Yeah.
good. Her whole album, she's brilliant. So I
is.
feel like I'm just all Beyonce right now.
That's great.
Yours?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to pull me away from Slipknot,
Yeah.
but I've recently discovered
Fair.
it's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
It's just they get me on a wavelength.
They do.
But I recently discovered a band called Spirit Box that I
Okay.
really like as well. 4 folks, husband and wife duo that started the band, but like very like big sound, like ethereal sound,
Okay.
and she can transition from like guttural, fear-inducing growls to just like beautiful. I really like it. So
Should we put it on in the office?
yeah. Well, actually, you're gonna sing us out,
Perfect.
right? Because
Yeah.
Because we've learned that you're phenomenal.
I can do my alto part on the Mamas and the Papas, California Dreamin', whenever you're ready. 5.
Perfection.
Yeah,
And
okay.
then last question, then
Yeah.
favorite coffee
Favorite coffee?
doesn't
Like,
have to be here.
That's true.
Are you
just
saying
like-
just like
You're craving your
like this
iced
is a loaded
coffee.
question.
from a location though, are you saying?
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite in the Twin
yeah.
Cities is the Lobby in Excelsior.
Oh,
Okay.
I really.
Weekend plans.
We're big
is.
coffee fans, as you know.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just
has to be
mentioned it.
iced year round. That's the rule.
Same.
is the
We
rule.
talk
I
about
agree.
this all the time.
And I don't have fancy. I think I'm like a very standard latte or vanilla latte kind of person typically. So, but at the Lobby they have an iced cappuccino, and it's so good because they pour their homemade cold foam on top, and it's so unexpected for a cappuccino.
Love it.
And it is
Are we road
chef's
tripping?
kiss.
Love
I think we should.
Yeah, it is.
We're gonna wrap it up here so we can head out to the lobby.
That sounds amazing.
And they owe me free coffees for life now.
Shout out. Yes. You say cold foam, I'm in. Let's do
Yeah, I
it.
know. It's so good.
But thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you for
Thank
being a
you.
fan and
you.
supporting us.
Well, I
We love
appreciate
you.
you.
We're happy to have the association.
It's the best partnership of my life, honestly. Like, I love you guys. I love working with you, obviously, so often. Mall of America in general. It's been like the best. So thank you.
There it is. That's our pull quote.
It is.
Yeah, best
Done.
partnership ever. I love Mall of
is,
America. You
yeah.
heard it here. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us on So Much More.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of So Much More. If you want to hear more, be sure to subscribe to our podcast wherever you find your favorites, including Spotify, Apple, or Google Podcasts. And you can also watch a video cast on YouTube. Go to podcast.mallofamerica.com to leave a review, ask a question, or give us an idea for the show. Until next time, thanks for listening. So Much More is presented by the Bloomington Convention and Visitors Bureau, the official destination marketing organization for the city of Bloomington, Minnesota. Before your next trip to Mall of America, Visit bloomingtonmn.org for answers to all your travel questions, deals and packages for hotel stays, and so much more.